Good evening, everyone. Let's take our seats or stand out back. It's all good. There are no rules. Because the kids aren't here, there are no rules. We'll just say it that way. Thank you, everybody, for joining us for this amazing celebration. I'm so honored to have so many people here to celebrate three incredible candidates coming into our Hall of Fame. But before we start, I would like to first acknowledge our past Hall of Fame inductees. Would you please stand if you've been inducted into our Hall of Fame in the past? I see a few. I saw a few. There we go. Yay. John's in the house. Hi. This is one of my favorite events. I keep going off script, but this is like all of you coming home. It's like family, and I'm so grateful that you're here. We're going to have a lot of fun tonight. We're going to share some great stories, show some fun pictures, Catherine. Just saying. But before we get started, I got to really focus here. I want to thank Anna Knott's company for their sponsorship. I'd like to thank M&T Bank, Basque Imaging, Cohen Investments Advisors, the McMahon Group of Wells Fargo, the Raleigh Group as well. Oh, these cute babies coming in. Oh, I can't focus. And I also want to take a moment to thank our staff. Our staff are truly incredible. So if our staff could stand up so we can acknowledge them for all their efforts. I love embarrassing you. Let's do it. There's a lot more staff. I think they're hiding in the kitchen probably. I don't know what's going on there. And also, what makes this organization so amazing is our board of directors and our trustees. So if our board of directors and trustees, could you please stand to be acknowledged for all your support over the years? All right, special thank you to Puritan Back Room, Coca-Cola for tonight's refreshments. Catherine Pollock and the Wait Pro staff, thank you so much. We greatly appreciate all these treats tonight. Bob Malone and his team for the sound and video and providing tonight's visuals. And Kyle from Public TV, thank you for filming this tonight so that we can get this out to people that couldn't attend tonight. So thank you for being here, Kyle. So let's get this started, and I thought I would start this off tonight. I would like to kick off our presentation to share a few of our memories of Ann Pappas. Ann was one of my favorite people when I started here 9 years ago, and I know you thought it was Ken Neal. It really wasn't. It was Ann Pappas. I enjoyed going into the kitchen and having great conversations and trying to find my way in my new role as CEO of the Boys and Girls Club. Ann reminded me of home. I was raised by a single mom and aunts and grandmothers who were strong women. And when I landed at the Boys and Girls Club to be part of Ann's life was pretty powerful to me. I'd like to share some thoughts with you about how our staff felt about Ann. Alvin remembers being a member here, getting dinner from Ann every night, and just having a few seconds to talk with her and engage and joke. Those are those memories that he'll cherish forever. Alvin is now our new athletic director and hopes to bring the same dedication and compassion to our kids that Ann once brought to him and many others. So let's acknowledge it. Alvin, way back there. Alvin, it's great to have you here. And many of us remember how popular her tuna rolls were and the mac and cheese. It was one of the favorites here at the Boys and Girls Club. Another memory was from Keith, our facilities director, who had a fond memory of Ann when him and Ann would talk about fixing things. Keith and I have never had conversations about fixing things. I don't even know what tools are. But Ann was very, very handy and knowledgeable about manners, all manners of repairs. She would enjoy when she could stump him with what particular tools he was using. I didn't know that story. That's pretty funny. She also liked to feed him. And she fed all of us. She would let Keith know when the leftovers were available in the kitchen. It was a club kitchen, but of course it really wasn't. We all knew it was Ann's kitchen because she took such pride in her kitchen. She took such pride, though, when the health department came, she scored 100 every single time. It was amazing, and the smile on her face. And then we have Wendy, our program specialist, who has a very funny memory of Ann. It was Wendy's first time running Kids Club, a brand new edition program for a summer program. Wendy arrived at the club when she got back from camp, went into the kitchen to see Ann, and guess who was not happy? Wendy forgot to clean the tables after snack time. One thing is for certain, you didn't want to disappoint Ann or make her upset. Wendy never forgot to clean up after snack for the rest of the summer. Ann's love of language was her food. She took care of not only the members here, but all of us. This role allowed her to be a mom to so many who came to her kitchen doors. She kept us laughing with the jokes. She kept us on our best behavior, even Antonio and Ken, and she made sure the kitchen was always clean. But she also nurtured us with her advice, her Greek treats, and her love. Oh, do I miss that lemon and rice soup. But who's best to share these memories about Ann Pappas is her son-in-law, Antonio. Please come to the stage.
Welcome, everybody. I'm honored to highlight our first inductee, Ann Pappas. Ann was a loving mother to Lenny Pappas Jr., Melissa Salakis, and Jenny Feliciano. She was a proud wife to Lenny Pappas Sr. and an adoring yaya to Charlie, Nick, and Nathan. Sorry, I just lost your camera. Ann began working as our first ever kitchen manager in 2007. We were looking for someone who could run our snack program. More specifically, we needed someone who could take over implementation of our food program, the weekly ordering, and the food bank pickups. Ken and I knew whoever we hired had to have a driver's license. We interviewed Ann, and she was exactly what we were looking for. Ken and I knew we had the right person for the job. When Ann came into work for her first day, I was doing a walk around with her and going over the snack program. At that time, I mentioned to Ann the importance of ordering from the food bank and arranging time to pick up the orders. She paused and looked at me with those blue eyes of hers and says, "Pick up? I don't even have a license." You see, Ken and I failed to ask the most important question during that interview that day. Do you have your driver's license? I'm happy we left that question out that day, because if we hadn't, who knows, that would have impacted Ann's employment here at the club. And we would have missed out on an incredible staff member. Ann was dedicated to her job and the kids who looked forward to a snack every day. It didn't take us long to realize that Ann was the perfect person for this position. Shortly after she was hired, the club partnered with the New Hampshire Food Bank Recipe for Success program. What began as a snack program quickly turned into dinner and breakfast too. There was no one that could manage a kitchen quite like Ann could. She took pride in the food she served and cleanliness of her kitchen. Ann ran such an organized kitchen that she would notice if you moved anything out of place, and she would hunt you down to make sure you put it back. It is because of Ann that our food program is the success it is today. Ann's Chum Bucket Cafe, as we used to call it, serves over 75 breakfasts, 500 snacks, and 150 dinners every day. The kids could never get enough of Ann's cooking, and her mac and cheese is still talked about today among other members. Ann made sure everyone, including the staff, were fed each day. I know she's responsible for a few of the pounds I carry on today. Ann and I worked very closely together throughout her time at the club. Occasionally, Ann would let me use her kitchen to cook Spanish food for our kids. I was allowed to do so as long as I cleaned up and left the kitchen to her standards. One time, I put all my dishes in the sink full of water, and Ann saw me. She looked at me and said, "You need to rinse the dirty dishes first before you put them in the wash sink. Now all that water is dirty, and I can't use it to clean the rest of the dishes." Ann had me do it all over again correctly. That's how she was. It didn't matter who you were. If it was done wrong, she would have you do it again. Till this day, I make sure I rinse my dishes before I put them in the wash sink. Ann was such an asset to our organization, and we knew sooner or later we would have to face the fear of Ann retiring. Ann announced her retirement to Ken and I in 2017. Shortly after that, Ann began to have health issues and passed away in November of 2017. To this day, on the whiteboard in the cafeteria, you will find the words Ann Chunk Bucket Cafe written in her handwriting. No one has touched it since she passed away. Ann, we miss you dearly, and I'm so grateful for all of the memories you shared with us, the meals you provided, and the love you gave to all of us. Nothing makes me happier today to stand up here tonight and induct Ann Pappas into the Boys and Girls Club of Manchester Hall of Fame. I'd like to call the family to come up.
So thank you very much. It's always hard for me to talk about my mom, but ironically enough, today, 6 years ago today was the last day she actually worked at the club. So if you knew my mom, she was here the last Hall of Fame event before she passed away. So it's kind of extra special that today she's getting honored on the Hall of Fame night, knowing that it was the last day she worked here at the club. My mom, as she was here, was to all of us at home. If it wasn't to her standard, she would just do it herself, even though we tried to help. My mom was an amazing woman, an amazing mom, an amazing wife, an amazing yaya. She took pride in her food spreads that she would put out. She did it here, she did it at home. Now I do it on football Sunday, just like my mom did it. My brother does it at his house, my sister does it at hers. I know my mom would be absolutely honored to be recognized here at the club by all of you. So I thank you very much for appreciating all that she did. I know my family, it means a lot to them. So thank you very much, and I appreciate all of you.
I just want to say thank you as well. My mom signed me up at the Boys Club back in the mid to late 70s. Some of the staff is here tonight, which is great. I was a gym rat. I know my sisters were gym rats, and it's nice to see everything is still going even better than it was back then. But I truly appreciate everything that you guys have done for my mom and my sister and my family, so thank you.
Okay, my name's Lenny Pappas. My wife of 48 years, I miss very much. First of all, I'd like to tell myself and my children, which I have 3, one son, Lenny Pappas Jr., and my 2 beautiful daughters, I have one favorite sister-in-law, and I got some other friends. And I'm just here to say, I want to thank you all for coming, okay? Because my wife, I've missed now, coming next week will be 6 years that I've missed that woman. And that's a very, very long time. And I'm just here to say, to thank you all for coming, and I appreciate everything that you've done and then that the Boys Club has done for her and what she's doing when she worked here for the Boys Club. She was with friends, she knew everybody, especially the kids. I don't know how she did it, but when I used to come in just to see, she knew every single name on that list of kids that would come to eat. And she fed them all, and if they didn't, she'd ask them like this, "You sure?" And if they did, she'd give them something else to eat to make sure that they had something in their stomach. And I'll tell you right now, as a person in my own belief, that that woman did anything and everything for anybody that they wanted to. And she did a lot for me that I regret. I wish she was here for myself and my family and my sister-in-law, but that's all I can say, and I want to thank you all very much for everything, okay? Thank you.
This next inductee has been a longtime friend and a younger sister to me for over 30 years. Jocelyn Mahoney has a loving family. Her parents, Jack Gilbert and Janet Gilbert, who both passed away a few years ago, and her sister, Joanne Smith. She's married to her lovely husband, also my broski, Sean Mahoney. Before Jocelyn became a member of the club, she would go home after school and was looked after her older sister. But Jocelyn begged her parents to sign her up at the club, and they finally did. Jocelyn began at the club in the 6th grade and immediately began to fall in love with all that the club had to offer. From leadership clubs to adventure camps, soccer leagues, and cheerleading, she was truly what a club kid is all about. Jocelyn quickly began to build relationships with staff, and 2 staff that she says helped her become the successful woman she is today. Those 2 staff are legends here at the club, the Hall of Famer Brian Tremblay and future Hall of Famer Ken Neal. Jocelyn says that these 2 individuals opened the pathways for her and really helped her decide what she wanted to do for the rest of her life. And that's to help young people reach their full potential and strive to be the best of themselves. Jocelyn says she has always been more driven to help the young people who face more adversity and are in need of more guidance because they seem to be the ones falling through the cracks and in need of a positive mentor. I got the privilege to meet Jocelyn as a member in 1992. Jocelyn and I hit it off quickly, and we grew up through the club. We treated each other just like brother and sister, to the point where we would tell the kids here at the club that we were twins. And I, of course, being the guy that I am, took it a bit further and told the kids that Jocelyn would take all of the money from our birthday cards our family gave us, and I never got to see any of that money. The kids would run to Jocelyn and tell her how mean she was to take all of our birthday money. I would also chase Jocelyn around the club after a basketball game, drenched in sweat, to give her a brotherly hug. She would say, "Oh no, that is gross." To think about it now, I don't know how she stayed friends with me. But I'm so glad she did. I've been cheering Jocelyn on since the day I met her. I fondly remember how proud of her we all were when she became the 1998 Youth of the Year, a well-deserved honor and a testament to the leader she has always been. Jocelyn is such an amazing alumni, volunteer, and former youth professional staff of this club, a club she always considered to be her second home. When we asked Jocelyn how it felt to come back as an alumni, I think she really described it best. Jocelyn said, "It feels like home." Despite the renovations to the building, the changes in staff, the club still feels like home. The deep roots that she developed as a member are still here, and whether she is attending a meeting, working with a group of members, or volunteering, she still sees the memories of her childhood as she walks through the halls. She still sees a place she used to beg her parents to leave her at, even when her parents really wanted her to go home. Jocelyn and her sister, Joanne, continue to give back every year here at the club and give out educational scholarships to our graduating members in honor of her mom and dad. Jocelyn is all about helping others and giving young people opportunities to grow, succeed, and better themselves. Jocelyn now serves as the Director of Finance and Development for My Turn, guiding teen youth on developing their skills, goals, and self-confidence through alternative education, post-secondary planning, career exploration, and employment training. A quote that comes to mind when we think of Jocelyn is by Rita Pearson. It says, "Every child deserves a champion, an adult who will never give up on them, who understands the power of the connection and insists that they become the best that they can possibly be." From the beginning of her involvement in the club, it sparked a desire to give back and help others. She could not get enough of the opportunities to help other members or involved in the community. The relationships she built with the staff and the opportunities the club provided helped shape her into the person she is today. Jocelyn said that she knew that she could always count on the club and the staff. It is something that has truly stuck with her. I know there are so many young people who have been through the doors of our club and the doors of My Turn that can truly say Jocelyn is their champion. It is with great pleasure tonight to induct into this year's Boys and Girls Club of Manchester Hall of Fame my good friend, my sister, Jocelyn Mahoney.
Okay, so Antonio just pretty much gave you my whole speech, but I'm going to give you it anyways. Thank you. I'm both deeply honored and humbled to be here tonight, being inducted into the Boys and Girls Club of Manchester Hall of Fame. Congratulations, Catherine and Anne. Catherine, I could not be prouder of you and the work you do every day to make sure the youth in our community are seen, heard, valued, and have a safe place to express themselves. and Anne, who gave so much of herself every day to ensure members had access to breakfast, snacks, and dinner. I cherish all the memories we made, and I know you must be looking down, beaming with pride. I'm grateful to be in such great company with this year's class, the first all-female class to be inducted into the Hall of Fame. I was 11 years old when I walked through the doors of the club for the first time. Ken Neal was the first person to greet me and tell me what the club was all about. I had no idea what I was going to do first, and it seemed a little bit overwhelming. There was so much going on. The club quickly became my second home. Every day, from the time I got out of school until the last possible minute I could convince my mom to leave me here, you would find me at the club. In the 7 years that I was a member, I took advantage of everything the club had to offer. Whether I was whitewater rafting, hiking, canoeing, or mountain biking in West Virginia or Pennsylvania with Adventure Camp, winning championships in floor hockey or indoor soccer in the gym, touring businesses where board members worked, or sharing my various club experiences with Brian at various activities that he would take me to. The club provided opportunities I would not have had anywhere else. I've always enjoyed helping others, but it was through my involvement in the Junior Volunteer Program where I really began to see the ways I could have a bigger impact. I found myself spending all my free time volunteering, and I always seemed to gravitate to the kids who seemed to be a bit misunderstood. More than the opportunities the club provided me, it was the relationships I made that had the greatest impact. Mrs. Glod greeted me every day with a smile on her face and questions about my day. Ken was always quick with a joke and provided years of irreplaceable mentorship. Brian always had the sincerest smile, a hug, and no matter how many piles were on his desk, he would drop what he was doing to spend time with me. He has been a mentor and someone that I can always count on. Dick was always ready with an art project in the art room, and during our many summers working together at camp, I quickly learned that I thrived in structure. Good thing, as Dick ran a tight ship. In the senior games room, Rick was always there to laugh with or to let us use his office to nap after a girls-only overnight or finish homework before or after work. There were several other staff that were part of my journey here at the club, and I'm grateful for them all. I knew every day when I arrived here that there were adults I could count on, people who were happy to see me and who provided the support I needed to thrive. The relationships I made extended beyond the staff. I developed true lifelong friendships in this building. Friends who became family and whose family have accepted me as their own. Friends who are in this room tonight and who I simply could not imagine navigating life without. I began working with youth when I was 13 years old as a camp counselor here at Camp Foster. Over the course of my career, I've spent 20 years working here at the club in both a part-time and full-time capacity. I spent 3 years working in residential treatment for boys ages 6 to 14, and for the past 10 years, I have found a home at My Turn. For those of you who don't know about My Turn, we work with people regardless of circumstance, helping them develop a path for their future. We provide dropout prevention, workforce development, services for court-involved young people, high-set GED prep, adult education, and so much more. To be honest, my employment at My Turn came out of nowhere, and I could not be more grateful. In the past 10 years that I've spent at My Turn, we've helped hundreds of high school students complete their education and receive their diplomas. We've helped families see why a child should attend college even when it was outside their cultural norm. We've helped participants discover career paths, have advocated for them in school, in the community, and in the courtroom. We've supported them as they've navigated life's toughest moments, and most importantly, we've loved them all. I'm blessed to work at a place where we share a common vision, to do whatever it takes to help participants succeed. A place where no matter what wild idea I come up with, and you should know, there's been a lot of them, I'm always met with support. I have been told that in my career I've helped thousands of young people, but the truth is, they've helped me. It's because of them I get up every morning ready to tackle the next adventure. It's because of them I'm able to see so many possibilities, and it's because of them I know this work was meant for me. Their resilience and strength are daily reminders that anything is possible when we receive a little help along the way. The club was instrumental in my development as a young person, and the opportunities, relationships, love, and support I received helped shape me into the person I am today. I know firsthand that when you have strong adult connections and mentorship, you can achieve so much more than you ever imagined, and I know this because I've lived it. Every day, the club was a safe place for me to grow and develop, and every day I go to my turn to try to create the same type of environment for the people we serve, showing participants they are worthy, valued, loved, and providing opportunities for them to grow, learn, and realize their potential just as the club did for me. When my sister and I lost our parents in 2016, we didn't know what to do. We were filled with grief and a deep desire to give back. The club has been an important part to all of our family. And so when we decided to create a scholarship, we knew the club was the place to do it. In 2017, the Jack and Janet Gilbert Memorial Scholarship was created to help former and current club members achieve their post-secondary goals. Our parents believe that every young person should have the opportunity to succeed regardless of circumstance. Since its creation, with the help of close family and friends, we've given out over $15,000 in scholarships to club seniors and alumni in their honor. Lastly, I'd like to thank my village. I would love to name you all individually, but this has already been long enough. I would like to thank my family, my friends who have become family, my Turn family, my club family, and everyone who shows up for me and supports all of those wild ideas. A special thank you to my parents, who I know would have given anything to be here tonight. To my sister, who no matter what current project or idea I have, is always by my side to lend his hand or support me. And to my husband, who never complains when I work early, work late, on the weekends, on our vacation, not even when I spend his money to buy something one of the kids really needs. You're the real MVP. I would not be the person I am without you all, and I could not do the work without the endless support you provide me. I am truly blessed that you're all a part of my life. Thank you from the bottom of my heart to the club for this honor. Mom and Dad, this one's for you.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Hashira Rodriguez, and I am the Director of Development for the Boys and Girls Club of Manchester. This next inductee has various roles in her life. She's a change maker, a counselor, a friend, a wife, a mother, a role model, a sister, a daughter, and a trailblazer. And tonight, she takes on another one as she is inducted into the Boys and Girls Club's Alumni Hall of Fame. What makes this even more special this evening is that Catherine Caballo will be the first person of color to be inducted into the Boys and Girls Club of Manchester's Hall of Fame. Catherine began, yes, thank you, that's worth a standing ovation, yes. Catherine began attending the club in 2006 with her friends. She remembers her first day as she walked down the stairs to the teen center that there were people her age, lots of fun and games, and tons of cool things to do. But then she also remembers the staff, and that they weren't her biggest fans at the beginning. She remembers that the club staff were always on her case about her attitude and what she was wearing. Remember earlier when I said she was a trailblazer? Catherine was why I had to create a dress code in the teen center back then. What she remembers most from her earliest days at the club was that no matter how much attitude or pushback she gave, the staff never gave up on her. Growing up, Catherine was one of 5 children and the only girl at home. It was here at the club that we unexpectedly became unofficial sisters. Dear God. Catherine was 12, and I was only 19 when we met. She's still shocked that a 19-year-old would tell her that her music was too inappropriate back then. I'm shocked too, actually. I was able to watch Catherine blossom from a young tween with a chip on her shoulder to a teen who would take that chip and use it to build an incredible path for herself with each step that she took. Catherine became one of my first teens to arrive and usually the last to leave. Catherine, your mom, Stephanie, I just want to let you know that all the late fees have been forgiven. It's way past that time, so all late fees have been completely forgiven. Do not worry about them. Catherine soon became a camp foster counselor and remembers making $20 a week her first summer. She would become an area supervisor working after school here at the club until 6 and then hanging out in the teen center when we closed. During her high school years, Catherine was incredibly active in the Keystone Club, serving as Keystone president during her junior and senior years. She remembers her first Keystone trip to New Jersey and how that was such a pivotal moment when she realized how important the club was to her and how big of a, how big of a difference her involvement would have in her life. We traveled all over the country for Keystone conferences, to places such as Atlanta, Pennsylvania, Orlando, and even Texas. We got there in any form possible: trains, planes, buses, and I think even a horse one time. On these trips, we experienced so much together, trying new foods such as alligator bites in Florida, going to Disney for the first time, meeting celebrities, and we even bought cowboy hats in Texas because we thought it would help us not look like tourists. Boy, were we wrong. Catherine served on various steering committees for Keystone conferences, helping to plan regional conferences for other teens, and even was a co-chair for a regional conference in Stamford, Connecticut. Under Catherine's leadership, the Keystone Club would receive several regional and national awards for community service and workforce development. We would be recognized as a legacy club and truly put our teen leadership program on the national radar. 2011, Catherine would be named the club's Youth of the Year. She would then be named the New Hampshire State Youth of the Year for the Boys and Girls Clubs. She remembers thinking she had never won anything in her life before and how shocking it was for her. I remember that it felt like time stood still. I'm not gonna cry yet. I remember thinking that it felt like time stood still when they announced her name, but somehow the photographer still got this celebratory crying picture of the both of us. Catherine would then go on to New York City to represent the state of New Hampshire after all of her hard work. She didn't win, but we had the best time in New York to celebrate her. On that trip, Catherine experienced her first train ride, meeting Barack Obama, even though it was at the Wax Museum. Seeing her first Broadway show, lunch in Little Italy, and we even got drenched during a summer rainstorm as we sat on top of one of those red double-decker tour buses. We have a history of sticking out like sore thumbs, or in this case, wet rats, while doing very touristy things. Catherine says that when she thinks back on meaningful moments at the club, something that has always stood out was realizing how many people within the club and community supported her because of their belief in the Boys and Girls Club's mission. As Catherine was getting ready to graduate high school, I remember many late nights at the club where Catherine would be here working on college essays, preparing for our next Keystone event, or telling scary ghost stories during a junior lock-in. During those late nights, we would talk, and I would always try to give her my best advice and guidance on anything she had going on during that time. As long as I had snacks, she usually listened. After several years in the teen center, it would be one of my proudest moments to see Catherine and her closest friends, Jacob, Taylene, Jan, and Jatara, all graduate from Central High School in 2013. Usually, graduation means that a member's time has come to an end here at the club, but Catherine had other plans. In her sophomore year of college, she decided to live off campus and come back to Manchester, and she needed a job. I was now the teen director, and I hired her to be my assistant teen director. Because in her words, I felt that she was mature enough to work with the teens. I don't remember saying that, but it's your night, I guess you're right. I remember thinking this might be a crazy idea. But then we got to remember that I was also 19 when I started working in the teen center as an assistant. We had an amazing teen staff crew working with us those days, like Pablo, Ashley, Brad, and the most loyal Teen Center volunteer, Bob Salvis, or as the kids knew him, Pool Rules Bob. I now got to watch Catherine grow as a professional as we worked together for the next couple of years. We worked together to create opportunities for the next group of teens that came through our Teen Center doors. We got to see the Teen Center finally open for teen members during the summer and be able to keep kids safe and engaged in programs here at the club. Besides crushing goals in the Teen Center, it was also incredible for our teens to see when Catherine accomplished one of her goals and graduated from college. In the eyes of our teens, staff like Catherine were truly superheroes. Catherine soon became a full-time staff member at the club and served as our teen individual service director. During that time, Catherine worked with teens at some of their toughest times and celebrated their best times. She says that some of her best memories as a club staff were providing teens with opportunities like college tours with the 500 Degrees program, trips to conferences, and taking teens to new places out of Manchester. She says the best feeling is seeing what all the teens have accomplished now that they're all grown up. Some are even here tonight to celebrate her. She credits staff like Ken Neo and Antonio Feliciano for always reminding her to have fun as a staff while also having a strong work ethic, and credits Diane Fitzpatrick for pushing her in meetings and into spaces that she typically would not feel comfortable in to talk about the great work she was doing or to bring forward new ideas. Catherine says that made her feel comfortable walking into any room today and advocating for our youth no matter what. Even in adulthood, Catherine continues to inspire us with her accomplishments. She went on to earn her master's degree in clinical mental health counseling and is now a licensed psychotherapist, joining the 4% of Black psychotherapists in the country. Yes. Catherine is currently part of the Manchester School District, where she returned to her alma mater, Central High School, in 2020 as their SAP counselor. Even after leaving the club, her roles have allowed her to still be involved at the club. She knows that the doors here are always open when she has an idea for a new program, collaboration, or even a well-earned lunch break, or occasionally, I still might have some snacks for her. Catherine has involved the club in nearly all aspects of her adult life milestones. From graduations to her wedding, the club has continued to cheer her on. Catherine and her husband, Unique, even celebrated their baby shower for their son, Carter, at Camp Foster. And what better place to celebrate their son's first birthday than right here at the Boys and Girls Club? Already before the official membership age, Carter is clearly heading in his mom's footsteps on becoming a club member here at the club. It's so incredible now that we're both moms, watching our sons growing up together, here it comes, having play dates, being at each other's birthday parties, or even scaring us as they try to run down a slip-and-slide together. I am hopeful that they will be able to create long-lasting memories here at the club, just like Catherine and I have. Hopefully a new rule doesn't have to be created because of the two of them together, though. When Catherine was applying to become Youth of the Year, she wrote that one of her long-term goals was to be able to inspire the kids at the club to know that they could do anything. Watching all that you have done over the years, Catherine, I think it's safe to say that you have exceeded that goal. Thank you. I'm back. It's not just the club kids back then that you have inspired. It's the countless numbers of kids here at the club and in our Manchester community that you continue to inspire and motivate every single day with your commitment to our youth. You inspire me with all that you do and continue to do. You are brave, you are confident, and you are a leader. I know I say this often to you, but it's important to say it in crowded rooms too. I am forever proud of you. It is my honor to welcome, let me try this again. It is my honor to welcome Catherine Kabbalah as an inductee to the 2023 Boys and Girls Club of Manchester Alumni Hall of Fame. Catherine Kabbalah.
coming here tonight. I will say there's a great thing about the club is all the memories and people you meet. The worst thing about the club is they don't delete pictures. So if you were ever a member here, beware. Some of the pictures I sent in didn't show, but it had a lot of my former kids in there. I wish they showed them, but I'll post them to Facebook. I am overwhelmed with joy and gratitude and honored to stand before you tonight as a proud inductee into the Boys and Girls Club Hall of Fame. This moment is beyond my wildest dreams, and I find it hard to believe that this journey began over 15 years ago, has led me to receive such a prestigious honor, to be inducted on the same night as two women I grew up with, Jocelyn and Ann. As I walked through the doors of the club all those years ago, little did I know this incredible organization would become such an important part of my life. The Hall of Fame event, which I've attended since 2011, was once a place where I set up, cleaned up, helped park cars, and handed out name tags, greeted people out front, and when I turned the prime age of 21, my favorite job was bartending. I've witnessed the impact of the past amazing inductees on their communities and never imagined that I would one day share the same honor. And since I never had that dream, I struggled to find the words to deliver today. So I did as any millennial would, and I Googled it. So Google said first, you say your thank yous. I owe a heartfelt thank you to the committee for considering me for this extraordinary honor. My parents, who entrusted the club with their only daughter, deserve special recognition. As a parent myself now, I understand the difficulty of placing the trust in others, and I'm grateful for the community that allowed me to stand on the stage today. To my amazing husband, Unique Kabbalah, thank you for making the balancing act of being a wife, mom, and active community member seem effortless. You never complain when I have a late night meeting or go through your closet to give clothes to youth in need, or when I buy random items from fundraisers in order to support youth organization. He's always uplifting me for the work I've been doing, or like tonight, bringing Carter to my community events so he can experience the importance of community involvement as well. So thank you. You have empowered me to be the better person every day. A sincere thank you goes out to the past and present colleagues, the community members who have supported my ideas and programs. Community involvement, as I firmly believe, is a crucial part of growing our community. I cannot forget the Boys and Girls Club staff who have witnessed my transformation, physically, emotionally, everything, right? From a quiet preteen to a woman standing before you today. Hashira, your impact on my teen years was profound. The way you made all us teens feel welcomed and heard is something I carried with me, and I thank you for not charging my family late fees all those nights I stayed late. I express my gratitude to Ann Pathis, who provided me with a hot meal every night when I was living on my own, juggling multiple jobs and attending college. To the members I grew up with at the club, our shared memories of all-nighters, fundraisers, trips, and community service will ever hold a special place in my heart. Lastly, to my former club kids, it has been an honor to play a part in your lives, and I am grateful that we all still stay in touch. Seeing you become parents, nurses, teachers, city workers, and community leaders fills my heart with such pride. Now the next thing Google told me to do was to share a story. So here it is. Now let me share a story from 15 years ago of my memories with the club. Camp Foster was my first gig at 14, $20 a week. Just want to emphasize that, Ken. It taught me the importance of fun and authenticity. I remember my first Camp Foster experience was superhero versus villains. I grew up in Manchester my whole life. I never went camping. I never experienced the Boys and Girls Club fully until I went to camp. Superhero versus villains, Ken and Antonio ran camp. So yeah, I've never seen adults outside of my teachers have so much fun, but then be so serious in a not so serious situation. The staff had to come together, and Antonio and Ken gave us this whole spiel, like, you can't take off your mask, you gotta be ready to fight. I thought it was all pretend, so then they drove us out. Well, the younger staff had to walk out to the middle of the woods, while the older staff got a ride on the broken down Jeep or the truck. And they told us all to find a hiding spot and to prepare. So me, not knowing what's going on, I was like, okay, whatever, like let's do this. So I hide, and then we hear chanting like 3-Finger Willie or whatever it was, right? So 300 kids come, they form a circle in the woods, and then Ken and Antonio come out, and they start fighting, but like real fighting. And so all us younger staff, the kids that have been there forever, they start fighting too. So I just jump in, kids are jumping out of trees, we're tackling each other. But it was such a crazy experience for me because I've never experienced adults act like that, right? And I thought it was pretend, but it was serious. And I really had no idea what was going on. But before I knew it, a few years later, I was that older staff riding in the red truck, telling the younger kids like to get behind the tree and prepare. So it just makes me realize what an impact that those experiences had on my life and how fun it was that whatever you do it with passion and have fun. And if you take those two things with you, you will inspire people, you'll inspire the next generation of youth. And that's what I continue to do with the youth I work with today, and has been monumental in building meaningful connections. So as I transitioned from a club member to a full-time professional, the club helped me understand how to conduct myself in a professional manner. They supported my ideas. My advisors and supervisors constantly would put me in positions that opened many doors for me, even if I doubted myself. These experiences, combined with my family values, has shaped me into the confident professional and person that stands before you today. I'm not afraid to walk into a room. I'm not afraid to come up with innovative ways to support youth, young adults, and myself in environments where my big idea might not be supported. I stand before you a product of what support and leading by example and taking pride in my work. When I left the club to pursue my passion in counseling, I was nervous that my time and commitment to the club would be gone. However, I was wrong. They continued to support me, and I continued to support them. Even last year, when I wanted to host a Lift Every Voice Summit with the Manchester School District, Diane and the club was welcome to host this big idea I had and help host all 100 students. It was an amazing event, but that's one way the club has continued to support my big idea from afar. My ideas with the Wellness Center and Black History Month Assembly, I had the confidence to ask for those things to happen because of my experiences at the club. I'm blessed to have the support from my now supervisors that work for the school district that still collaborate with the club, and they understand the impact that my ideas have on our students. The club was more than just a physically safe place to go after school. It was a place that many of us cried, laughed, and shared our lives together. I remember rushing to the club right after school just to play DDR and eat snacks on the couch. Thanks for the snacks. We learned how to work together even when we had completely different beliefs. I carry these skills and memories with me everywhere I go. It's the reason I am where I am today. I am blessed to be part of an incredible community, and although I often talk about living in warmer places, the love that resides here for me and my family is irreplaceable. In closing, I need to dedicate this induction to my amazing community. Without the collaboration and support that we give one another, I would not be able to accomplish all that I have. This one is for us. May we continue to learn together and grow together. Thank you.
On the awards tonight, Jocelyn and Catherine are both honorary Boys and Girls Club Manchester members for life.
All I can say is, wow, what a night, what an honor. Now it's time to celebrate, so I hope everybody will stay and join us for some appetizers. Celebrate Jocelyn, celebrate Catherine, celebrate Anne. That's what this is all about. I want to thank you for your time for being here. So we've got the back room for appetizers. Our staff are here. If you want a tour and you want to go to the STEAM lab, please let us know. We'll give you a tour. But again, let's do another round of applause for our inductees. If the families could come over here, we'd like to get family pictures next. And food's over there for everyone else. Let's party. Thank you.